Hello, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast that features hundreds of incredible interviews with very real people just like you who started off most often as clueless newbies and went on to build incredible businesses using the strategies we teach on this show. And of course, we're talking about the foundational strategies of the proven Amazon course, the leading training for those who want to build a legitimate, exciting business online in e-commerce. We call it the low, low, high business model. It's what we teach in the proven Amazon course, at least the initial training. Lowest risk, lowest cost, lowest learning curve, highest odds of success. That's what we do here. That's what we built our reputation on. And today I want to talk about the top 10 mistakes that we see new sellers making. And if your question is, well, Jim, who's a new seller? If you haven't had a, say, $5,000, $7,000 sales month yet on Amazon selling, then you're new. I don't care if you've been doing it for 4 years or if you just started yesterday. This list applies to you. Now, if you're already doing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, there's some valuable lessons in the content I'm about to share. But the heart of the content today is, again, the top 10 mistakes that we see newbies make that throws them off course to where they never actually go on to build a beautiful business. I'm aware of no other organization out there that has launched more successful newbies into beautiful, successful businesses in what we consider to be the lowest hanging fruit business model of our time, Amazon reselling. We've got the evidence all around us. Hundreds of us just gathered in Orlando, Florida, a couple of weeks ago, and we were sitting shoulder to shoulder with people with seven figures, multiple seven-figure businesses doing the exact business models that we teach. The future is very bright. All the numbers are in our favor, all the future forecasts, all the spending habits. Amazon is a dominant force in e-commerce with hundreds of warehouses, with millions of products that need to be resold and stocking their shelves. So the business opportunity is certainly there, but there are some ways that you can get derailed, and I want to talk about them today. So let's start with this one. The first way you can derail yourself if you want to be a seller on Amazon is to sit down and hop on YouTube and start watching videos about how to sell on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of great information on YouTube about selling on Amazon. There's also, I would say, about 70% of what you're going to see is either outdated, terrible advice coming from a place of low knowledge and high confidence. You know, there's guys that look like they just started doing this a few months ago and they've got the car and a pile of cash. And for some reason, people are drawn into, and some of those video channels just have thousands and thousands of views within a few hours of the videos being posted. What's going on? Well, they've cracked the code on attracting gnats to a flame. And because they're good at that, people assume they know what they're talking about, but they don't have something that you really need to be looking for. Maybe I'll talk more about that in number 2, which is flying solo or looking at the wrong leaders. Trial and error. That's what I was trying to read my own notes. Trial and error. Flying solo, trial and error, listening to the wrong experts. Where does that take you? Well, that's the way you can get derailed is by not asking the right questions initially. What are the right questions, Jim? I want to ask the right question. Here's the right question to ask. When you're first getting started, trying to figure out who you should listen to. Use this test in our community, use it with me, with our podcast, with our content, use it with any group you're considering being a part of. The magic question that I've been talking about for well over a decade is simply this. You ask the person who's creating the content, you ask the moderators of the group, you ask the person in the comments next to the Instagram video or wherever it is, you post this and say, hey, where can I go to hang out online with your students? Before I buy anything, I want to be in a room where your students hang out. I want to see what they're saying. I want to hear them interacting with each other. I want to hear the conversations. I want to see the good, the bad, the ugly, the success, the inspiration, the challenges people are having. I want to hang out in that room. And I also want to know where I can go to hear success stories. not two or three, not little pictures and little snippets on your web page. No, I want to hear in-depth conversations with people talking about the reality of what you're training me to do. If the only thing the expert has to offer you is video and audio of themselves talking about how great this was for them, you should be very, very skeptical. What we have in our community is a Facebook group with 82,000 people approximately, was voted recently the best group for Amazon resellers in the world, an industry-wide voting. We host the conference that was voted the greatest reseller conference in the industry. This podcast was voted the top podcast. Why? Not because I'm so articulate and fun and interesting and entertaining and knowledgeable. No, has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that our organization is built to create success stories. And that's what we do better than anyone. And you can come hang out with them and experience them and listen to the conversations with them well before you invest even a dime with our organization. That's what we do here is we create success stories. So the way you can mess up, number two, is fly solo, watch some interesting YouTube videos just because a bunch of other people watch the same videos, or guess your way through the process, experimenting and just trial and error. You can go for years trial and erroring your way into huge piles of cash wasted and months, if not years, wasted trying to figure out on your own because you are determined not to spend a few dollars per month on a great education from a trusted organization. That's what the Proven Amazon course is. It's a few dollars per month and you get the world-class step-by-step education that newbies need to keep you from making big mistakes. All right, so we've talked about the first couple of problems that you can run into. Let's move on to the next one. It is chasing tools and chasing lists. Chasing tools and chasing lists. What do I mean by that? What do you mean chase tools? Well, if you're under the impression that buying the right tool is what you need to build a beautiful business. Oh, I just got to get the right tool. I just got to buy for the right tool, the combination of right tools. So I don't have to do any of the learning curve here. I just want the tools to do all the work for me. Those tools don't exist. There's absolutely no way you will ever build a beautiful business of any kind just buying tools. Kind of like building a house. You don't build a house by buying tools. You've got to become knowledgeable in how to deploy those tools. And the next one, lists of products. If you're spending money on people to sell lists, say, hey, here's the hot products you should be going after. If you are a new seller, you have no business buying lists of products. You don't know how to vet that list. You don't know how to make sure that the good parts of that list are separated from the bad parts of that list. You're just going to be flying blind, getting frustrated. You're going to be another person who tried for a few months and gave up because you bought tools and lists and then flamed out. Now, you don't have to believe me. Just try to find a group of people anywhere who say, yeah, I just bought the right tools and the right lists and succeeded. Yeah, that's all it took. Tools and lists. That's the way to go. Get these suggested tools, go buy these suggested lists of products from this person over here. Easy peasy. No, nothing in life worth having is ever like that. And you know this. Business online is no different. But I'm not saying we're against tools. We love tools. We're going to train you how to use Keepa, for example, as one of the tools you're going to have to use. It's $20 a month. We get paid a few peanuts when we promote this thing, but it's a robust tool. And you can use it for years and still be learning advanced strategies on how to use that tool to source incredible products. But we're not going to say, yep, just buy this tool, turn it on, click a couple buttons, off to the races you go. No, you're going to need to learn how to properly use these tools. So don't chase tools and lists, chase education. That's the key. If you're new, you want to be around people who are doing it successfully. You want to follow a proven track record course and content that produces success stories, shows you the ropes. There is a small learning curve here, as with anything worth doing. One of the reasons that it's not saturated to sell on Amazon is because there's a little bit of a learning curve here. You do have to learn how to do it the right way. There's a lot of people jumping in, doing it the wrong way, and quitting. There's also a lot of people making a lot of money because they're doing it the right way, because they've learned not the tools, but the strategies, the sourcing strategies, the systemization strategies for building a beautiful business. That's what we do in the Proven Amazon course. We teach you how to think properly about what a good product is and what a good product isn't. So that takes me to the next one on our list, profitable product chasing. So many people come into our community and we know they're completely new and completely clueless when they say, I need profitable products. I can't find anything profitable. You're making so many bad assumptions when you think you're capable of predicting the profit of a product before you've even tried to sell it. You do know that you get to pick the sell price. You can make that price as high as you'd like. Claiming that you are able to calculate the profit on a product before you've attempted to sell it, that's a fool's errand. Now, sure, you know about what the buy box has been recently, and you can say, well, I think that's probably about what I'll sell it for. That's a horrible assumption. So many of our new students, you'll see them in our Facebook group, which is completely free, by the way. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. You can jump in and see for yourself every week. Few dozen people are posting about their first few sales, their first $1,000 week, that sort of thing. And let's say, wow, I'm selling so many of my products above buy box. Everyone else is trying to sell this product for $20. I'm making steady sales at $28 because I found underserved shelf space. I'm not going to dive into exactly what that means right now, but if you think you're able to calculate profit on a product before you've even attempted to sell it at a higher price than what the buy box happens to be at any given time, you're making a huge mistake and you're leaving out millions of potential winning products that you could be selling against. Now, if you've listened to many episodes of our podcast, you've heard me talk about the above buy box strategies quite a bit. It is a huge, wide open blue ocean of opportunity that until you're exposed to it, doesn't necessarily make sense because you've probably got some tool that some YouTube video suggested, and it tells you this is the buy box price. The buy box price is $20. So if you buy it for $5 and sell it for $20, you've made $4 because the buy box is $20, and that's the only price you'll ever be able to sell this product for. No, the buy box price is a useless, borderline meaningless number for a lot of Amazon's catalog. Not only does the buy box move up and down constantly, but there are sellers making sales who never win the buy box. And keep in mind, too, the buy box could be hundreds of different numbers across the entire United States. You do realize that the price could be different in one region than the other. There's tools that show us this. I've seen buy box statistics on a product. You pull it up and you look, the price in LA is $20. The price in Chicago is $24. The price in Tampa is $28. And there's no buy box maybe in Dallas because Amazon doesn't think anyone's selling it at a competitive enough price. But there's a seller with a unit in a Dallas warehouse who's selling it for $40 without winning the buy box because a customer's in a hurry and they're willing to pay more. They don't want to wait for it to come from Chicago or Tampa or LA. They want it right now, today, 4 hours from now. And there's a unit in a Texas warehouse for $40, priced way above everyone else. And they win the sale that day without ever winning the buy box. So if you become obsessed about winning the buy box, you do need to understand it. But if you're obsessed with it and you think that is the price that your product will sell for, you've instantly eliminated about 85% of the opportunity from selling on Amazon and millions of potential products you could be selling against that are understocked or completely unstocked in Amazon's warehouse network. Now, if that was hard to follow the past 2 or 3 minutes, rewind and listen to it again, because I think I did a pretty good job explaining the point I'm trying to make. And that is, if you're too focused on buy box as a new seller, you are missing out in a big way on the opportunity on Amazon. And we prove it all day around here. If we actually got a module in the Proven Amazon course, the module is called Ignore the Buy Box. And it teaches you how to find products that are completely underserved or unserved in Amazon's 200 plus warehouse network. They're everywhere. And you can charge a whole lot more money than historic buy box when you find those products that just aren't adequately stocked in the 200 warehouse network of Amazon. Why do I always point out the fact that there's a bunch of warehouses? Because busy shoppers aren't shopping Amazon's entire 200 warehouse network. Busy shoppers who want the product fast are shopping the one warehouse nearest them, to see if they can have it within a couple hours. And they're very willing to pay more money. So if you hop on those fast moving products, those fast selling products that are understocked or unstocked in Amazon's warehouse network, you can charge a lot more money than buy box and make sales. So that's as much as I'm going to cover there, because I don't want this to be a super long episode, but the ocean is far bigger and deeper than you're imagining right now if you're a new seller. It's not just about being the most competitive price. It's about filling underserved shelf space. All right, next, they just simply quit too soon. That's the next mistake we see people make. They just give up a little too soon. They're thinking, oh, I didn't realize I was going to have to do a little work here. Well, that's why the opportunity is so huge. Most people don't have the discipline to sign up for a gym and still be going in March, April, and May. They New Year's resolution, January, they show up a couple times, February once or twice, March once, by April, they're done. That's most people. Are you most people? There's nothing I can do to fix that if you're most people. You've got to be willing to establish new habits and new disciplines. Now, fortunately, what we've done a lot of the heavy lifting, and we've said, here's a business opportunity that if you're willing to put in the time, effort, and energy and stick with it over a few weeks, a few months, you're going to have something pretty incredible. You can scale and step back, systemize, start using some of the software and tools to automate, like some of the great stories you've heard around here, people with multiple seven-figure businesses being run by a very small team, and software like 3P Mercury, for example. If you haven't heard of that, go over to silentjimdotcom/the system, or go listen to podcast episode 754 with my buddy Kang. Incredible story. You'll love it. But you can get through those first few weeks, couple months worth of blood, sweat, tears. We call it the period of intense focused effort. And once you're on the other side, there's so much opportunity. We want that for you, but we can't force you to get there. And that's a mistake we see a lot of new people make. It's also called shiny object syndrome, or like that movie Up. Remember the dog? Every time he sees a squirrel, he gets completely distracted. Squirrel. He forgets what he was talking about. He's looking here and looking there. Squirrel. Right? A lot of people approach e-commerce that way. There's so many interruptions online. If you've got a weak level of discipline, that's going to be you. You're going to drift back over to surfing on Instagram or drift over to TikTok when you should be focused in, spending a couple hours here, a couple hours there, really diving in and learning these strategies. If you're willing to do that, you can build something special. If you're not disciplined enough to do that, you're going to struggle to get out of the hard situation you're in now. Going to the same job that you don't like year after year, getting paid less than you know you're worth, that's hard. Learning a new skill, building a business, that's hard. The rewards are incredible, though, if you're willing to do that second one. So you got to pick your hard. Which one has the most rewards at the end? Choose your hard. Being overweight, out of shape, and in the hospital for months at a time because you didn't have the discipline to take care of yourself, that's hard. Getting out of bed a little early, getting in a good sweat, workout, walking, running, taking care of your body, eating a little healthier, that's hard too. Which one has more reward for you? They're both hard. Which one has more rewards? Only you can decide these things. So they quitting too soon. We see it. We see it a lot, and it's unfortunate. And we do everything we can to encourage you, to surround you with people who are doing it, who are succeeding, who are excited about the business models. We have events with hundreds of people that come and talk about their success stories and share from their heart on how this business works, but we can't make you do it. If you quit too soon, there's nothing we can do. All right. What's the next big mistake we see? We see people trying to launch their own brand or launch their own product on Amazon. I'm not going to rant on this one too long, but your odds of success are abysmal if you try to launch your own new product. Or my Uncle Ed's got this great product. I'm going to help him sell it on Amazon. We've never been there before, but we're going to take a shot at it. You're going to end up spending $10, $20, $50,000 courses, content, training, software. You're going to end up with a garage full of product that probably doesn't sell. 95% of the people on Amazon, that's their experience. If they start by trying to launch a new product, you need to start by being a reseller, selling products that belong to other people that are understocked. They're in demand and understocked. There's millions of them. We want to start you there. Many people stay right there. We like to see you eventually move into wholesale or maybe doing a little bit of consulting, helping brands get on the platform, or maybe launching your own brand eventually. Those are all options that are open to you once you understand the basics. All right, next, I call it molehills. Molehills. You turn molehills into mountains. This is kind of like quitting too soon, but it's a little different because typically the people who get stuck on the molehills thinking they're mountains are people who just haven't taken adequate training yet. They think ungating, for example, getting ungated on brands is this big, unsurmountable, I got to go buy 300 units. Oh no, this is terrible. You don't have to do that. We turn all those mountains, they feel like mountains, into molehills. That's what good training does. Ungating is such an easy thing to navigate once you've had proper training, once you've been surrounded by the right people who can hold your hand as you go through this, what feels like a dark area of minefields. It's not. You flip on the lights and you realize, oh, here's a path. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Sell a few things, the gates start opening. Never had to buy even 10 units of anything. And it go get an invoice for this and 50 units for that. No, you don't have to do that stuff. You just don't. We train our students all day, every day on how to avoid those mountains and turn them into molehills that you just kind of hop over. But if you choose to go it alone and trial and error and research your way through, looking at different YouTube videos and kind of piecing it together, what you're going to do is get weeks and months down the road, having made a whole bunch of mistakes, having made a bunch of bad assumptions. Ungating is a really big deal. I got to go buy 300 units and get an invoice and send it in. No, no, no. There's so many issues like that that you're going to overcomplicate if you don't get good training. Let us take you by the hand. That's what the Proven Amazon course does. Proven. AmazonCourse.com. We take you by the hand. We step you through this. Let us help. We've got a team of 100 of us who have contributed to that course and to that content. And we even offer one-on-one coaching if you're positioned to go further faster. And that's the last mistake I'm going to cover because I need to wrap up this episode. I've got another appointment coming up. But let's talk about it for just a moment. Can you afford coaching or not? Here's what I like to say about that. A couple things. One, you can't afford not to get a coach if you're positioned to go further faster. What that means is you're going to spend way more money, probably 10 times more money. You're going to make way more mistakes, probably 10 or 20 times more mistakes than you would have made if you'd have just gotten a coach from our team, someone who's been there, done that. They're doing it right now successfully. They can keep you from driving off a cliff, show you where the guardrails are, show you how to turn on the headlights on your car so you don't run into something, slow you down and put you on the right path so you can then begin to step on the gas knowing that you're in the right lane with a nice, flat, smooth road ahead of you. Trying to do this business alone when you're well positioned to go further faster, but you decide to go it alone is like deciding to spend $50,000 on something that should have cost you $1,000 just because you were determined not to spend that thousand. You end up wasting all the time and effort and energy and frustration and random YouTube videos and distractions because you're determined not to get help. Get some help. We've coached nearly 10,000 people over the past 24 years. We have the world's highest ranked education programs in the industry. All of our coaches are people who do the businesses that they're coaching. You're going to be working with a mentor who's been there, done that, take you by the hand and help you avoid the pitfalls. So if you're positioned to go further faster, meaning you have margin in your life, let me just explain that for just a moment, then we'll wrap this up. What do I mean by margin in your life? Well, I mean, you've got the emotional, mental, the financial, even the relational and time and health margin. You've got some extra space in your life. Your spouse isn't saying, you're crazy to spend another dollar on those crazy business ideas. You better not do this, mister. Well, you don't have any margin there. You need to earn back your wife's trust or your husband's trust there. You need to show them and demonstrate, maybe take your time, use the proven Amazon course, a few dollars, turn 100 into $200 and $300. Show them this works. I just need help scaling it, right? Earn that trust. Or maybe you're not very healthy right now. If you're on the couch 8 hours a day because you just can't for whatever health reason, well, you're not in a position, you don't have the health margin to launch a business right now. You just don't. You need to heal. Financial margin. If you got no money in the bank and you don't know how you're going to pay rent next week, that is not the time to launch a business. It's just not. Now, we have some resources and things you can do. Put yourself into hustle mode. Tell your friends and neighbors, hey, I'm selling stuff online. You got anything I can sell and split the profits with you? Free inventory. You're hustling. You're taking pictures. You're delivering stuff. You're collecting $20 here, $40 there. If you go into hustle mode, you can stack some cash, but you're not ready to launch a real business that can be systemized and scaled over time. So you start to get the idea. If you've got some margin in your life and you're ready and positioned to go further faster, you've got a little money in the bank. Yeah, let's talk. Let's get you a coach. No matter how new you are or how experienced you are, that's irrelevant. If you're ready to go further faster, we can help. Silentjim.com has a link to our coaching program. You can go right to the number where you can text us at silentjim.com/book a call. You can schedule a call or you can drop us a text right there. Someone will be happy to have a conversation with you. It's not a high pressure thing because we're going to have to qualify you and make sure that you're ready to go for the programs that we offer. It may be some free resources is all you need, or some low cost resources, or maybe you're ready to go further faster. But not getting a coach, if you're well positioned to do so, will be one of the most expensive decisions you've ever made because going further faster more than makes up for any of the lost time and money that you would have experienced otherwise. Well, that's my list of things that we see holding newbies back, the reason they fail, the reason they don't go on to build beautiful businesses with the otherwise very solid strategies that we're so proud of that we teach and train on around here all the time. And we'd love to show you how it works. Get into our community. Listen to more of our podcast episodes if you're new around here. Check it out. We're very proud of what's been built. We're proud of the success track record of our students, and we'd love to make you our next success story. Well, God bless you, business building warrior. Great hanging out with you today. We will have more great episodes, interview episodes coming at you very soon where we sit down and talk to our successful students. We love doing those. We got a bunch of them lined up. We'll have more coming for you very soon. God bless. Until then.